Hi folks, I'm going to go over quickly exercises 11 and 13 from chapter 2, just to give you a little help getting started with those. First thing I'm going to do is make a new project in BlueJ. I'll call it chapter 2 exercises. It's empty at this point. What I'm going to do is do that edit, add class from file thing, navigate to the folder I sent you, student files, check chapter 2, obviously exercises, Red Cross Java. Okay, so here's the code for that. Let's quickly look through this. We import some libraries. Don't worry about that. These are just some libraries necessary to do graphics. So we have a class called Red Cross, which extends JPanel. JPanel is a class for doing graphics. That's all you need to know at this point. So our class is called Red Cross. This is a method called paint component, which is called automatically by Java when the graphics window needs to be updated. So you don't need to worry about how that's called. You're actually going to be modifying things within here. You're going to be modifying code in here to get the red cross to be right. So you have to figure out how fillrect works. You can always Google Java fillrect and find that out. But just a little help. This is the top of the rectangle. This is the top left. Top. This is the left side. Actually, these are the coordinates of the top left corner. That's how I think that's the width, and that's how long it is in pixels. So just you're going to have to adjust these numbers. This X center is, we get the width of the window that this is being drawn in, which is set down here by these coordinates. So and so this get width gets the width of that, divides it by 2. So basically X center and Y center are exactly what you'd think. They're the center of the little window. And then you have to, in order to get this red cross to be correct, you're going to have to modify the top left corner of the of these two bars. So I'll let you play with that, but you should be able to figure that out. Down here, here's your main function, and this is the one you're going to be calling. I'll show you that in just a second. Just want to, you can ignore this stuff and this stuff for now. It's advanced stuff, and it's just necessary to make this work. I should focus on this line. So what this does, we create a new red cross object here called panel, and we do that by saying new red cross. And what happens here is the main method now actually makes an object called panel of type red cross, and that object contains all of this code, and then is automatically this stuff down here automatically, as I said, Java will automatically call this paint component method. The super dot means that it's a method of the JPanel, okay, which our class Red Cross is extending. So it just says, hey, JPanel, call your paint component method when needed. Okay, so what I'm saying here is if you duplicate this code, and we'll do that now, Command C, right, for running it. This is for the for 13, the Bullseye program. We'll call this Bullseye. And I'm going to select all this and paste into this stuff. So this is exactly the same code as in Red Cross. But this class is actually called Bullseye, so I have to change that, right? And down here, we want to say we're going to make a new Bullseye object. So you have to make those. I'm using Bullseye here. You could use any name that's a valid Java name, no spaces, bullseye, in order for this to work, right? Because this is how Java knows that this is a different class than Red Cross. So see, we have bullseye here and Red Cross. So let's just compile this, and then I'm going to call the main method and say OK. And Java's now putting everything together, and there it is. Okay, so these bars are obviously not in the correct position. This one needs to move a little left and probably a little up, and this one needs to move a little up and maybe a little left. Okay, so those are the changes that you need to make in here. Just as an FYI, I did this just to make it a little easier for me to identify which of these lines is making which of the bars. So now when I do this, right, okay, so this first one is doing the vertical bar, and the second one is doing the horizontal bar, right? So so that first number is actually that's how wide from the top left corner of the rectangle, and that's how deep or down, up and down. And so this one is the blue, and that's the so that's how far across you go from the top left corner, and that's how far down you go from the top left corner. So across, down. Top left, coordinates, then how far across, and then how far down from those top left coordinates. All right? So almost done. In Bullseye, you're going to be using a method called filloval instead of fillRect. So all you need to do here is change that, and you're going to need to figure out how to change these values, and maybe add some more. You may need more than 2 of these fillovals to do this. But if I compile that and do this now, again, I call mainstream args, and it's doing, well, those are ovals, but that is far from the bullseye that we need. So, but that's something for you to play with, right? You're going to have to modify these values. But again, other than that, changing bullseye panel equals new bullseye, you will not need to change anything in here. You'll need to change the class name up here, and then all your work will be basically in this section to get the bullseye. All right, and the way to do this is the best way to do this is sit down with a piece of paper and sort of figure out the coordinate system carefully, and then from that you should be easily be able to derive the correct numbers in order to solve these 2 problems. Okay, that's it. Thanks. If you do have questions, please let me know.